Alright, what's going on, dudes, and welcome to some Titanfall. Hopefully your subscription feeds aren't being completely bombarded by this at the moment. They probably are, but it's cool. I'll just go ahead and, contribute to that. So, in case this is the first you're hearing about the game, it's a first-person human/mech shooter kind of game that's made by a studio that consists of a lot of the same guys that worked on Call of Duty 4 at Infinity Ward, and it's a pretty highly anticipated title. I've been wanting to play it for quite a while. I tried playing it at PAX Prime back in August, but unfortunately the line was a little bit long, so I didn't get a chance. But finally, this past week, myself along with a whole bunch of other YouTube dudes got invited to an event hosted by EA, where we got a few hours hands-on with the game. Unfortunately, I was only able to play on Xbox One at the event because that's what they had set up, so I haven't gotten a chance to play it on PC. However, given the time I did have to play it, it ran very well. The controls felt very good. You know how sometimes when you pick up a new game with a controller and you play it for a few minutes, you're like, this doesn't, I can't really control my character very well. This wasn't that, so that was good. So the basic gist of the game is I believe it's multiplayer only, and somehow they're like integrating a storyline into that. I don't know for sure. That's just what I heard from someone else. I haven't heard too much background on the game other than watching a few trailers here and there, but nonetheless it did look like a super fun game, and that's why I was looking forward to trying it out. So we had 3 game modes that we were rotating playing in at the event, and there were a couple maps. So one of the game modes was called Last Titan Standing, and it was everyone starts off in the Titans, and your Titan versus the Titan is the mech suit, I should clarify. So everyone's in the mech suits, and it's just a death match where everyone has 1 life, and if you actually eject from your Titan, you can still run around on foot. But as soon as all of the mech suits, the Titans, are killed on one team, then that team loses. On top of that, we had just the normal team deathmatch, and we also had a game mode that was pretty similar to Call of Duty Domination. I think it was called Hardpoint. Basically, you just wanted to control as many out of 3 points as you possibly could at once, and your score ticks up based on how many points you have captured, and then whoever reaches the score limit first wins the game. Pretty straightforward. So in both the team deathmatch and the hardpoint game mode, everyone starts off on foot with, I think they call the foot soldier the pilot. So everyone starts off as a pilot, and it's basically just first-person shooter. You have your creative class that you can use and select at the start of the game, change throughout. And this is where I was sort of confused, and I should have just asked someone for some clarification. But somehow in like the first minute or so of the game, I think it's based on how well you do as to how quickly you will receive your Titan. So the Titan, it's not like a kill streak reward as per Call of Duty. Everyone gets one at some point. It seemed like, from my observation, it was just based on how well you do, how many points you get. It's something like that, and then a countdown starts. It says your Titan is going to be, you're going to be ready for Titanfall in, I don't know, 2 minutes or something, and then once those 2 minutes are up, you can call your Titan down into a particular location, hop in, and then you can wreak havoc in your mech suit. So something that I was concerned about initially was, well, you have these huge robots with massive guns, and then you have these lowly pilot foot soldiers, and how do you balance the two so that once someone gets a Titan, they don't just start killing everyone and become this unstoppable force? And it seems that first and foremost, people generally start calling their first round of Titans in at about the same time, and then after that it seems that there are always a few Titans on the playing field at once, and Titans usually naturally start focusing on taking down other Titans, and in that time you're kind of distracted from going after the pilots on the other team. And if you choose that, oh hey, I want to start going after the pilots, then the Titans that are present on the other team are going to start shooting you, and you have to defend yourself, or else your suit's going to just get taken out. You'll have to eject, and you'll be back on foot yourself. So that's the number one thing. And then the second thing is that when you're a pilot, you generally have some sort of anti-Titan weaponry in your inventory, and because the Titans are big and clunky, they can't go into these small little areas, you can stand inside of a house or something and start shooting at the Titans, and then back behind a wall, they can't see you and they don't know where they're being shot from. So there is a good bit of balance. Obviously, if you get caught out in the open as a lowly little pilot running on the ground, the Titan will take you out immediately. But I didn't really have much of an issue. It wasn't frustrating being on foot with enemy Titans playing on the field as well. I didn't find that was an issue. Now, I don't know once the game is released if it's going to be possible for one team to just completely and utterly dominate the other and have a full team of Titans where the other team can't even get any, but it didn't seem like the actual system for earning them and calling them in worked that way. It seems like eventually, again, you will be able to call one in. I should have just asked instead of continuing to speculate here. I'm sure someone else's video on this will have the exact manner in which the game decides to grant you the Titanfall. So anyway, that's that on the subject of balance. As far as the Titans go, well, this is pretty self-explanatory how they work. They're big things with super powerful weapons, and on top of just your regular shoot, you can also use a little boost to boost you in a certain direction, and that has a cooldown, or well, it overheats at a certain point, something like that, and then you can't use it for a certain period of time, so you have to use it sparingly. And then you also have a couple bumper attacks, one that varies based on your class, I believe, and the other is like a force field that you can put up, and it stops any incoming projectiles. And then it's sort of like Neo in the Matrix, how he can stop the bullets and stuff. Well, spoiler alert. But you can stop bullets, and then you can, and missiles, etc., and then you can Kamehameha them back at your enemies. So it's cool because it requires timing to get that down. I didn't really get it down very well. Occasionally I did capture a bunch of bullets and missiles and fired them back, but that was occasions of that happening were pretty few and far between. Usually I would end up using it at the same time as my opponent, so therefore we would just be like, yeah, look at my force field, it's cooler than yours, and it wouldn't really do anything. But it was still cool. So something else you may notice is that aside from playing against other players, you've actually got like NPC AI controlled soldiers on the map as well. There are a couple different varieties. One is called a grunt, and the other is something that starts with an S. I can't remember the exact name, but you'll probably see it in the footage somewhere. So if you're wondering why sometimes I am just walking around and shooting people who seem to be completely oblivious, those are AI characters, which is interesting because generally in first-person shooters you don't have AI soldiers running around as well. They can never actually get in Titans. They're stuck as foot soldiers the entire time. Poor guys. But if there is one thing that I could nitpick about, it's that the AI on those guys can be a little weak at times. Like, you can go up against, I don't know, 5 of them at once and they'll be like, huh? What's going on? Are we being shot at? Oh no, maybe we better do something about it. Oh no, we're already all dead before we decided to do something about it. Now, again, I don't know if maybe there are difficulty settings, but I don't know, I'd speculate that there wouldn't be because it's multiplayer, and so there are a bunch of people playing on, maybe the server can specify the difficulty. I don't really know, but again, not the final release, so they might fine-tune that stuff. But that was the only sort of issue that I saw, is that those guys seemed kind of derpy, and they just essentially stood there and were like, hey, free target practice if you'd like to do that. But still an interesting element that I think, if calibrated properly, could be kind of cool, because it populates the battlefield a little bit more, because it's a 6v6 game. I don't believe that even on PC it'll go over that player count. But then you do have these AI characters that make it feel like there are more people on the board. I don't know if there are any plans to expand the player cap. Who knows? It didn't seem like there was. Maybe one can keep their fingers crossed. But the maps were all pretty small. Well, not small. I guess once you're in the Titan, they feel a lot smaller. So I can see how having a lot more players could be kind of crazy, but who knows? Maybe make a huge map. I don't know. But overall, I mean, hopefully the footage sort of speaks for itself on top of my actual narration in the background. So other than that, I'm trying to think if there was anything super fancy that I forgot to go over, and I don't think there was. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Shoot the other team, and if you're in hardpoint, capture the points and get mechs and Anyway, yeah, I did enjoy it though. So I think that'll about do it for this footage. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching. If you have, a rating would be much appreciated. Other than that, I guess I will catch you all later.